These 90-Day Fiancé cast members are the rudest and meanest people in the franchise. Their mean streaks have been revealed every time they treat their partner badly on camera. The 90-Day Fiancé universe has churned out an unlimited number of spin-offs until today. These spin-offs introduce several couples, each different from the other, not just because of their cultural and regional connections, but also their various interesting storylines. It's always exciting for viewers to meet new couples and try to understand their relationship dynamics. Sometimes, there are 90-Day Fiancé cast members who are instantly disapproved by viewers. They are slammed for how they treat their 90-Day Fiancé partners. Despite the backlash, these cast members show no remorse. It's like they're ingrained with a mean streak even if they try their hardest to come across as charming. 90-Day Fiancé fans will always count Indonesia native Leda among the most disliked cast members of the franchise, even though it's been several years since she's made an appearance on any show. She became a villain in the series after she forced Eric's daughter Alari Stark, who used to be known as Tasha in Season 6, to move out. Leda had thrown teenage Tasha out of her own dad's home. She pressured Eric to stop paying child support for his son. Leda was creating a rift between Eric and his children. She wished for Eric to choose her over his children. Leda's attitude made fans question Eric's love for his kids, as they asked how low he could go to cut off his own children for his new wife. Despite Eric proving his love for her, it didn't stop Leda from filing for divorce from him in February 2024. Leda herself decided to show fans that all was well between them by later posing for romantic selfies with her husband, revealing the toxic nature of their relationship. Jasmine's attitude towards Gino was the result of how they have really met. Jasmine and Gino did not cross paths on a dating app, but he saw her on a website for sugar daddies. Jasmine and Gino's relationship was transactional, with her expecting the most expensive gifts from him, even though she claimed to be earning $3,000 in a month. Jasmine continued to body shame Gino and wished to expose what Gino looked like without a hat to curious internet users. She berated Gino by telling him her ex-boyfriend was much better than him in bed. She asked him to choose her over his family. Gino eventually lost interest in Jasmine and couldn't get himself to sleep with her. Jasmine used this to create a narrative that she was being rejected and hence, allegedly abused by Gino. She also opened her marriage for a third, against Gino's wishes, and introduced her new boyfriend, Matt Brannies, into the relationship. Rumor is Jasmine is now having Matt's baby, when she gave Gino plenty of excuses when he wanted to get her pregnant. 90-Day Fiancé Sarper made Shekinah Garner feel like he had done a favor by choosing to date her after having slept with over 3,500 women. Sarper did not respect Shekinah's wishes by rejecting female clients at his personal trainer job. He decided what Shekinah would look like by choosing everything from her clothes to her makeup to her nose, while he refused to even make his relationship with Shekinah Instagram official. Sarper disrespected Shekinah before her sister. He called Shekinah a cunt. In the latest 90-Day Fiancé, The Other Way season, Sarper left Shekinah crying after doing something really serious. Shekinah told producers when he went to grab her phone out of her hand, and he ripped out a hair extension. Sarper was labeled an abuser and a control freak for how he behaved towards Shekinah. Interestingly, Shekinah forgave Sarper for what he did. They got engaged in Turkey and Sarper is currently in Los Angeles, probably married to the esthetician Chantal. Everett's parents were onto something when they tried to stop her from marrying Pedro. They suspected he was with Chantal for a green card and soon started to watch Pedro treating Chantal badly. Chantal always tried to save Pedro and defend her decision to bring him to the US without telling her parents that they were engaged. There were barely any moments in their 7-year marriage where Pedro made Chantal feel special. He stayed with her only as long as he could secure a green card and then shockingly divorced her. Pedro wasn't a supportive partner. He didn't encourage Chantal to do better at work and complained that she didn't help with household chores during her off days from her nursing job. Pedro had also started spending less and less time at home before the divorce, choosing to spend it on his co-workers. That Chantal was certain Pedro was sleeping with Angela has been called an allegedly abusive partner plenty of times. Michael going missing from her Hazlehurst house just 2 months after coming to America did not land him in trouble with fans for this very reason. Instead of accusing Michael of being a scammer, these 90-Day Fiancé viewers are cheering for Michael, who has successfully escaped an allegedly abusive relationship. Angela has hurt Michael in many ways, especially by keeping him under her thumb, even from thousands of miles away. Angela didn't allow Michael to have social media pages. She made him delete his Instagram and threatened to divorce him multiple times. Angela even went to the extent of showing up unannounced at Michael's house and wrecking his car before proceeding to physically attack him. Because she suspected he was having affairs behind her back, Angela even thought of hacking Michael's phone and putting a tracker in it which sounded like it was illegal. Andrei from Moldova has been filmed mistreating his wife Elizabeth Libby Popfast on multiple occasions on the show. He even cursed her in his native language on camera. Andrei even demanded Libby ask her father to pay for their extravagant second wedding in Moldova, leading to Libby's siblings wanting to know if Andrei was with her with ulterior motives. Andrei's commanding personality and his aggressive nature led fans to believe he never loved Libby. He also seemed to want to alienate Libby from her loved ones. His hot temper and overconfidence make it look like Andrei feels he's the best husband Libby could ever have. Andrei has struggled to make himself look like a devoted husband, even though there have never been any rumors of him being unfaithful towards her. Russian woman Anfisa showed her true colors even before she faced the camera when she refused to come to the US unless Jorge Nava had bought her an expensive bag. It looked like Anfisa was marrying his bank account, and not Jorge. She was in for a rude awakening when she realized Jorge had lied to her about his finances. Anfisa confessed that she didn't love Jorge as much as she loved his money. Her screaming about wanting Jorge to fetch her red bag with her makeup was seen as a joke, but it showed Anfisa's abusive tendencies. Anfisa's actions triggered viewers. In an episode of 90 Day Fiancé, Happily Ever After, Anfisa even physically attacked Jorge. Meanwhile, Jorge never retaliated. Anfisa could have easily left Jorge and gone back to Russia if she had felt cheated by Jorge, who'd kept his real financial status from her. However, Anfisa is still living in the US and has even got her citizenship after their divorce, which shows that Anfisa always wanted to be in America with or without Jorge. Natalie had been married twice before she met Mike Youngquist. She compared Mike to her ex-husband. She left because he refused to have kids with her and judged Mike for not being as fit as the army man. She didn't hesitate before telling the cameras that she didn't love Mike, leading to him resenting her for the rest of their relationship. Natalie proceeded to accuse Mike of sleeping with his best friend on the night of her wedding, and yet showed up in the States when her K-1 visa was approved. Revealing her real intentions, Natalie chided Mike for his dietary habits. She complained about having to live in the woods. She made fun of Mike's ex-wife. She lied that Mike's mother had called her a cur when she hadn't. Natalie left Mike when she realized she did not have a future with him in his small town, but Natalie also begged him not to divorce her because she didn't want to get deported. Natalie even tried to get Mike to take her back years later because she hadn't found any man who would give her a child. 90 Day Fiancé star Big Ed has been in not one but two back-to-back bad relationships on camera and didn't show any regret about his behavior towards his partners. Big Ed was in a relationship with Rose Viga on Before the 90 Days Season 4. He had lied to Rose about his height and his desire to not have any kids when she wanted to start a family with him. He appeared to be disgusted by Rose having body hair and her poor living conditions. He gave her a toothbrush and told her she had bad breath when Rose was suffering from an ulcer. Big Ed claimed to have attended therapy after Rose dumped him. However, his behavior towards Liz Woods was even more toxic. Big Ed infamously broke up with Liz 15 times on the show. The last split was him canceling their wedding without letting Liz even know about it. The number one spot on the list goes to Adnan from Jordan, who seems to also be the youngest on the list. Adnan was just 23 when he met the 41-year-old Tiger Lily on social media and married her within 4 months. He convinced her that they had to marry on the first day they'd meet, without which they wouldn't be able to spend any time together. Adnan slowly started changing Tiger Lily's entire identity. She went from wearing glamorous clothes to being modestly dressed within days. Adnan also insisted he wanted 5 kids from the woman who was 2 decades older. Tiger Lily was accused of having Stockholm Syndrome by her 90 Day Fiancé cast member Vanja Djarbek, who saw how controlled Tiger Lily was by her husband. However, Tiger Lily keeps insisting that Adnan is the best husband she could ever have. She'd been in 2 different marriages before Adnan, so she could be comparing him to her ex-husbands.